got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money. The pressure be calling. Left on my blessings. I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something. That's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection. I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the...
Welcome back to another episode of the Problems on Problems podcast. I am your host, Mike Santee. And this week, guys, I almost had it. And by almost had it, I mean I almost had the vid. This is the closest. Almost had it? I don't know. Yeah, almost had it. Where do I start? So, for some background information, some behind the scenes stuff, normally record this on a Monday or Tuesday, then release it on a Friday just because Mike has a day job in which, things happen. But last week, let's take this back to 2 weeks ago. Your boy was out and about. He was being precautious. But you know what he wasn't doing? He wasn't bundling up. So this microphone is too low right now. I was outside in like a t-shirt and this jacket, which it's not like a warm bomber jacket or anything like that by any means. It is a full-on just like thin layer of extra fabric. And so, you know what I just remembered too? Partway through that night, I gave up my jacket because I was being a gentleman and Michael, you did this to yourself. But yeah, gave up my jacket and I guess was out in the elements, just in a t-shirt chilling. And sure enough, I was pretty much okay. Yeah, pretty much okay. Doing my thing, not really feeling anything. Combine that with one night where Mike's prone to allergies, especially living down south. So when things get a little too dry, we out here, we put up the humidifier, things are good to go. Mike didn't do that. Woke up the next morning, congested as all get out. I don't even know how many curses I've said in this time, but yeah, I was congested. I don't know if you could even see it in last. I really need to move to a new place. But yeah, I don't know if you could see it in the last video, but there was some redness around the eyes, a little bit of tiredness, kind of lethargy. I was lethargic. That's really what I want to get at. And shoot, even in the Just the Sip segment, I would say I felt not the greatest kind of thing. So fast forward to what? Just the Sip was filmed on a Wednesday. Yeah, that night. Everything's going fine in the sense that, like, I don't feel out of the ordinary. I just feel as though I had, like, a little tickle in the throat, a little sniffles. You know what I'm saying? And it quickly deteriorated down to not that at all, where by the end of that night, I had 100 and I had a 100.7 degree fever, not anything too crazy, but also not the best feeling in the world. It was super achy, all that jazz. I just kept taking my fever every hour. I felt like ass. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I felt like ass. This might be the closest to feeling as though I might actually have COVID as I ever have in my life. So the next day, I'm obviously not going to work. I work from home, so it doesn't matter. But, like, I'm not feeling good at all that morning. I drive over, get a rapid test. We do them things. And then a couple hours later, it is official, guys. I'm 4-0 against COVID. I'm immune, baby. It's not official that I'm immune, but it's official that I don't, like, it's just going to take a long time for COVID to get me. Because things came back negative. We even talked about some, like, sirens. This is fantastic. More sirens. But yeah, no, it was fantastic. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. But got the test back negative AF, son. And it just goes to show you. I'm not giving you any advice because I could say the wrong thing and someone's going to, like, contract it and die, and that's not cool because it's still a very real pandemic. But when it comes to your boy Mike, if this is a Maury episode, COVID is not the father. Because why did I say that? because this will be my 4th COVID test that I've taken and comes back negative. I've done 1 antibody test and it's negative. I'm going to do an antibody test next week just to make sure on these streets doing the thing. Speaking of streets, guys, it's December. It's almost Christmas. By the time this comes out, Christmas is next week. So happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa. You know the deal. Merry Winter Festivus, if that's a thing. If it's not, I'm making it a thing. It's the holiday season. We're in December, and you know what that means? It means that we're deep into cuffing season. If you remember what I talked about in the cuffing season episode? If you're not getting these holiday invites and stuff like that, now granted, I would say that both Thanksgiving and Christmas these are very family-oriented holidays, and it's very normal that if you're fresh into this thing, that like you might not be getting those invites, but it might not be the end of the world. I know before I said if you're not getting the invites, it's the end of the world, but I take that back in the sense that they're very intimate. Not everybody's just be inviting, not randos, but like flings, friends with benefits. We're not if it's serious, we're inviting you out to the family gatherings, especially around the holiday season. If not, we'll see when we get back in town. But that being said, though, I learned a lot of things. And the first thing that I learned is that Mike is not built for the streets. If anything, I tried going to the streets. I went through, I guess you can call it a hoe phase. I tried to. It's just not me, man. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. I'll put in this clip that I'm thinking out, but this ain't me. I was trying to be out in these streets, and I'm just not a streets guy. Like, I'm outing myself, but it's not my thing. I could maybe juggle. I could maybe have 2 people that I'm interested in, 2 women that I'm interested in at the same time in my life, but like that's about it. Like, it got to, well, number 1, the other thing I found out is that like I'm not ready for anything serious. I'm not ready for a relationship. So as I continue to out myself, I think this last year and even going into like next year, I think it's okay for Mike to stay single a little bit longer, figure some more things out, do the thing, but also not to be like shutting off love. I don't know where this podcast is going anymore, but I mean, it's really just one of those things where I realized about myself where like I might not be for the streets, but I'm not like posted up at a house domesticated and that stuff. I would say if anything, I'm meant for the sidewalk. The Sidewalks is a nice place. It's an in-between place. It's not fully in the streets. You're not in the danger of the streets. And every once in a while, if you want to dip back into the street, it's right there. But also the sidewalk comes with the benefits of the fact that it's not that hard to leave the streets. You can just, pop on into somebody's house legally. Not breaking and entering or anything like that. But yeah, you can just go over to somebody's house, visit some people, go on some vacations, things that adults would do moving in that direction. Whereas you don't have to spend all your time just solely in the streets. I think wherever you are, whatever is going on in your life, I think the streets are a good place for single people to remember a lot of things. Either remember stuff about yourself or to understand things about yourself, which, I mean, there are some of you where like, yeah, you're made for the streets. It's fine. Do your thing. I think for everybody, the streets eventually wears off of you. The streets wear away through time. I don't think that lifestyle is very sustainable. If you think the opposite, by all means, holla at your boy. But I do think that, hey, there is merit to finding out what you like, finding out what you don't like, working through stuff as you date new people. But then there's also this idea or this merit to being alone, learning how to be alone, learning how to be okay with that. And there's this middle ground that Mike is in called the sidewalk, where I'm working and continuing to work on being alone, but I'm also not fully like domesticated. I still keep my eye on the street kind of thing. If you can read between the lines on that one, good job. If not, secret code missed. So overall, guys, I just think, hey, pay attention to where you're at in cuffing season. Know where you're at in regards to, for honestly, half of you guys listening are in relationships. So keep working on those relationships, keep them healthy and all that stuff. For my single degenerate people and single wholesome people, that's okay. You can be either or both. Pay attention to those on the sidewalk, because we out here, we doing things. We ain't in the streets, we ain't in houses, but we're moving. I hated all of that. But yeah, let's move on to just the sip. I'm sure I had some reckless introduction anyways, but don't forget to keep sending in your wines and spirits. Let's talk about that, because season 2, I honestly think we might go into whiskey. That's assuming that season 1 I find a wine that I like. How long will season 1 go? I really don't know. But yeah, keep your eyes on the prize. I hate that. Keep your eyes out for that. Make sure you guys are sending that in, and we'll go over to Just the Sip. Welcome back to The Sip, the segment in which friends bring wine, and I try them. We judge all the wines. As you can tell, I've been drinking heavily now. We judge all the wines based off of 3 criteria: the bottle/logo design, openability, which is really just how difficult is it for Mike to open it, not just a normal human being, and lastly, taste. This week, we have a Malbec.
Yep. And
What's
a Grenache.
And a Grenache.
Mm-hmm.
Both languages I don't speak. That's a lie.
So Malbec is a more medium-bodied wine.
Okay.
Both the wines this week are from the South American region.
Ooh.
That's not true at all, actually.
That's not true.
This one is.
Okay.
And the other one is from Europe.
That's okay.
But
we'll take it. All right. So this one, you guys are used to this by now. We got to swish it around and stuff. See if it has legs. Do some just not have legs?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. We're about to find out. But yeah, let's see how it goes.
On openability, I think this one's the easiest to open so far.
Yeah, I didn't have to open it.
It was a twist cap.
Also that.
Which is also, a lot of people think that's telling them whether it's good or bad wine. I used to think that.
It's
Not
not
necessarily the case.
Don't neglect your twist caps, people.
Especially if you don't have a corkscrew.
Ooh, yeah. I feel like this one has legs.
Really?
No. I just saw it.
Oh, let's read the description on this one, because
Ooh.
last week we did not have the description.
Go for it.
What you've been waiting for all day. The moment you unwind with a glass of Caia? How do you say that? Calia?
Yeah. Caia?
Caia?
Yo, what are you guys doing with this name?
Disconnect from the day's stress and connect with what renews you. Treat yourself to a well-deserved glass of Caia. Caia?
We'll figure it out.
If you know how to say it, leave it in the comments.
I'll type it in the thing.
Our Malbec is full of fresh plum, cherries, and warm baking spices of cinnamon and clove. Goes great with pasta dishes and anything off the grill. And then it says it all again in Spanish.
Yo, multicultural.
Yeah. Well, it is a product of Argentina.
Ooh, Argentina. I like you guys. I mean, I like everybody, but... All right, listen, I've been spinning this for a while. I don't really think it has legs.
Oh, I see him.
Oh, right here. This leg, right by my fingerprint.
This one leg.
All right.
How do we think about the label?
Label-wise, you know what? I like simplistic.
I do, too. I like the calligraphy.
Yeah, I'm cool with the label. Label's pretty decent. Smell, not a category, but you know what? This smells better than the other ones.
Yeah, it doesn't have, so that's the thing about Malbecs is they're kind of mild.
Okay.
So it doesn't really have like a punch you in the face kind of smell, taste, whatever.
Let's do it. Oh boy. This one tastes better than last week. Still kind of dry, but that's fine. I'll just get used to the dryness.
That's red wine for you.
Yeah. It makes me feel warmer.
That might also just be that you've had several glasses.
We've been drinking. And buttery. That's how I would describe it.
That's always a good description of wine. Buttery.
Okay. Buttery.
I'm full disclosure. I drank almost this full bottle by myself last night
She did.
for Bachelorette. So I like it.
It's obviously got good drinkability. Taste-wise, you know what? This is better than the last ones that we had, like the cab and that blend. It's definitely better. I like how it's not too sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Still smooth.
But there's a little bit of sweetness in there.
Yeah. I'll give this one a 7.2. 7.2 out of 10.
Wow.
I'm okay with this.
I'm a little shocked by your rating, but
I've yet to figure out what my rating is. So. These first couple of wines are going to suffer.
I will have to say that because I almost drank this full bottle last night, I'm going to have to give it at least a 7.5.
Can't do that math, Mike. It's like 7.3.5.
So, that was good.
I can't do math.
You can do that.
We'll be back with, I guess, the second wine of this segment. All right, so wine number 2. This one is from España. I would say the motherland, but
my favorite wine.
Really?
This is not my favorite wine.
Oh, Spain.
Spanish wine is my favorite wine.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Let me lead with that because this was a $6 bottle courtesy of not courtesy, like I paid for it, but like
send the check. This one is La Sonrienta.
Yes.
It's a Garnacha wine. Yes. What's that?
So it's a lighter bodied wine.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of Pinot Noir, I don't think light bodied, but when I looked up the scale today, apparently Pinot Noir is light bodied, and this is right after that. So it's like a little more towards the medium side, but it's still light bodied. Very easy drink. I like it. Had this at my house. Shall I read the description?
Do it. Read that. We like bottles with description.
Yes. Also, love this artwork. It's a hummingbird that like drew a face.
Reminds me of a lot of like Pablo Picasso.
Yes. I would love to know what La Sonriente means, if it means anything.
I think it's the smiler or the smiling.
Ooh. Because
sonreír is to smile.
We might have to fact check that, but that's cool. And that... she's not really smiling, but...
Nah, she's very, like, pensive.
Yeah, kind of like the Mona Lisa.
Yeah. Hit them with the details.
So, the best vineyards of Catalund?
Who knows at this point?
The only place in Spain I know that sounds like that is Catalina. Are situated high on the hillsides where, despite the poor, gravelly soil, the vines produce the finest grapes possible in this arid and desolate region. Only the ripest clusters are chosen, thus producing a wine of considerable depth and finesse, including intense aromas of sweet cherries and dark plums.
I'm excited about this wine. This description feels great.
Right?
Like,
we love a good description.
All right, and we already know from having like swirled it around for a while, the thing has legs for show.
For show.
It has, I think, the most legs out of all the ones that we've seen.
Yeah. Which is also interesting because it is the cheapest wine we've had so far.
See, don't be sleeping on those cheap wines, people. Don't, like, take my word for it because I don't drink them. But
no, truly, like, is basically the only place I buy wine now because
white
it's
girls,
cheap and
listen. All
white girls
races
love, but I
really
think
do.
everybody should love.
We'll get into that.
And they should also sponsor us. I'm just saying.
Send the check. All right, definitely has legs, smell-wise. You know what? I think the Malbec smelled better.
Yep.
I'm not put off by it because, I mean, like, this is the whole point of the show. I'm going to drink it regardless, but, like...
All right. I'm going to tell you what I think it smells like after we try it because I don't want it to judge your or affect your olfactory senses.
Also, yet another reason why I know don't have COVID because I could still smell the fuck out of it.
And taste all the good
You know
bad.
what? Maybe that's what it is. If I ever, which I won't because I'm, like, definitely immune, test me.
That was a bold statement.
The boldest. I've been saying it for a while now, but like still haven't had it. No antibodies. And I'm like, why?
Well, I've already had it.
You know my lifestyle on the weekends. I should have had it by now.
I mean, we're in the same friend group, and I got it from our friend group.
See?
But yeah, I've already had it, and I'm giving blood on Friday, so I'll find out if I still have the antibodies or not.
Nice. Okay. So I mean, I'm cool with it. Also, openability, yet another one that was already open, so
these
it's
legs.
really nice. See, look at that.
Yeah, I will say this one has been open for a little bit, so if like
to have more time to breathe.
That's not necessarily good.
I have no idea what that means.
So it is good to let red wine breathe, but that's what an aerator is for in a decanter. But that's usually like an hour.
Oh, Jesus.
Not like days. So this one has been open for like days.
We're about to get the days.
So we'll see if it's still good.
Well, time to find out, guys. Oh boy.
It still smells good, so.
Still looks dark as fuck. Oh. I still think the Malbec is better in experience, but this one isn't bad. This isn't one like last week's cab and blend and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the aftertaste or the after dryness isn't nearly as bad, but like I'm not a fan of the taste.
So here's the thing about this one, and I could tell when I smelled it. So when I smelled it, I'm like, this kind of smells like wet clothes.
Nice.
Which means it was open too long.
Ah, wet clothes.
Yes.
So you know what? La Sonriente.
Yeah.
We're not going to.
This is not your fault. This is my fault. This has been open too long. But.
Aftertaste of crackers.
The fact that it's still decently good.
It's drinkable.
After being open for several days.
$1 million question. Does it wine? I think so. I think it still wines.
What?
Yeah. We'll figure it out later.
I'm so confused.
It's not getting better, but
so I think telltale signs that wine are going bad. Definitely a vinegary smell, which this has not reached quite yet. But a wet clothes smell is getting there.
Don't drink wines that smell like wet clothes, kids. Because of that, for the first ever, I mean, it's only segment number 2, so there's going to be a lot of firsts. We're not going to give this one a score because we're not giving it a fair shot right now. I would say we'll have another one. We'll see what happens.
We'll have to buy this one again and try again. I mean, it is the cheapest one, so we're good.
I mean, it's probably like currently at its state.
Yeah. Days old.
It's worse than a Malbec, that one that we had.
Right. Which has only been opened one day.
The Cailla.
Cailla.
It's worse than that one, but it's still better than the cab and the blend. So I would say it's like second place right now. Yeah. So even without a ranking or a score, you get second place.
Right.
And I mean, look at the bottle. Like, I'm very much simplistic, but like that's a pencil line drawing of a face. So I got to give credit to that.
Right. That's pretty awesome. And there's a hummingbird doing it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, I mean, there's no segment out of this. There's never a segment out of this. I'm just going to say, like, cut to whatever. The rest of the show.
Maybe we should cheers it, though, to close it out.
Tink. And we're back. As you could tell, still don't like wines. Not like that's going to change anytime soon. Well, especially not between those wines that I was drinking. But yeah, definitely don't forget to submit your wines, spirits, everything like that over to my DMs at Problems on Problems Podcast, at Problems_pod. You do at Mike Santy. I'll tell you again at the end of the episode. But we move on to the thing that we enjoy doing every Friday on this show. The thing we enjoy doing every Friday on this show, the great debate. Last week, we talked about Christmas trees. Better Christmas tree. The real tree or the artificial fake tree. And sometimes I don't know why I ask you guys things because this happens. I mean, it's bound to happen every once in a while. But this time around, we got a 50-50 split again. I thought I would only see it one time, but yeah, 50-50 split. You guys can't decide. Well, you can decide. It's just that you're split in your votes. And I mean, I could see the merits I could see the allure of both in the sense that, like I talked about last week, real tree. You get that nostalgia, you get the feeling of it, but you know the cons of that. You get the sap, you get the needles falling. It's a one and done kind of thing. You also got to see a dead tree out on your curb or dumpster for God knows how long. The benefits to an artificial tree, cost effective. If it's pre-lit, what are you doing? Cons. If it's pre-lit and those lights break, what are you doing? But yeah, I mean, hey, however you celebrate things, whatever you do with your bushes, that's your business. This week, mainly because I'm super curious. I'm curious as to what you guys think. And you know what? That's how we're going to phrase it. It was going to be something completely different, but this week, I want to know, do you guys prefer the streets or the sidewalk? Let me know in the polls. Let me know in the comments, all that jazz. And with that, we move on to our Friday follows. This week, you know I stay shouting out food when I can, and this is no exception this week, because this week we're shouting out Q's Culinary Cart. Man, I've yet to be able to go there. I'm stalking y'all on Instagram. I'm out here. This 9 to 5 is not conducive to be pulling up on stuff, but I will be there one of these days, because this cart be slinging out the craziest hot dogs out here. Like, these things are delicious. I gotta be careful how I'm talking about this today, but just go follow them at Q's Culinary Cart. Look at those pictures. Hit them up. They're always posting out their locations, and kind of get after it. The next place, you know what? Most of my Friday follows will tell you a lot about my life, but this one goes out to Salud Cerveceria. They are based in Noda, second floor. I mean, they're both floors, honestly, but hit them up. Go look at them in Noda. Beer releases left and right. A lot of in-house, almost everything in-house. And I honestly, you know what? I could say they're one of the few places in Charlotte where I've tried almost all of their beers, and I don't have a problem with any one of them. So always good there. Also, on the second floor, I mean, before quarantine and all that stuff, and maybe it'll come back, they were teaching people how to salsa before they turned the second floor out into a salsa bar. So just be on the lookout for that. Learn salsa, learn the culture, drink beers. All right. I don't know what else to tell you guys. But with that, don't forget to follow me, follow your boy, like, comment, subscribe. Comments definitely help out a lot. The likes, do what you want to do. But at Problems and Problems Podcast, at Problems_pod on Twitter. Don't forget to follow your boy at Mike Santi 18 on all social media. And with that, guys, like I always say, if it's not a good time, hope it's a good story, and I will see you next week.
I wake up, flex, I'm down now, check, no drip this, wet. Tell 'em run it up, no sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch, tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, I'm down now, check, no drip